like a single specific weed.
Okay.
And then boom, that exact location gets zapped to a tractor.
Which then does what?
Which then applies just the right tiny bit of herbicide only right there, nowhere else.
This is pretty futuristic. Sci-fi almost.
Exactly. But it's becoming real, like really fast.
Right.
So today we're going to dig into a really big move that's pushing us into that future.
It is.
John Deere just acquired Sentera, the remote imagery folks in agriculture.
Sentera, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a significant move.
Totally. And what looks like just, a tech deal for farmers, it could actually change how every single one of us gets our food. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating development. And for this, we're looking at John Deere's official press release about the acquisition.
Okay.
And we're also pulling in some wider context on their whole strategy. How they've been buying up specific tech companies.
Right. Their acquisition strategy.
Exactly. Because this isn't just about, making a slightly better tractor. It feels more like a fundamental shift.
How so?
Well, how this huge company, John Deere, impacts food production globally. They're aiming for, more efficiency, more sustainability.
And more productivity, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, on a massive planetary scale.
Okay, so let's get the specifics. The news dropped May 23rd, 2025. John Deere, ticker DE, bought Sentera, based in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yep.
What did they actually say about Sentera, and what's the main goal they stated for buying them?
Well, the stated goal seems pretty clear. It's about boosting John Deere's current tech lineup, giving farmers more complete toolkits.
Toolkits for what, though?
For making better decisions, basically. Decisions that directly help their bottom line profitability, but also efficiency and, sustainability.
Okay. And Sentera's role in that, what do they actually bring?
Their tech is really cutting edge. The core is these industry-leading cameras.
Cameras for drones.
Exactly. And they're designed to work with most of the big drone platforms out there.
So flexibility.
Right. Which means farmers, or their agronomists, can capture really high-res data super quickly, efficiently, across huge areas.
At a scale that just wasn't possible before, I imagine.
Precisely.
But it's not just the cameras, is it? They have software, too. Field agent.
Yes, field agent. And that's kind of where the magic happens, turning that raw drone data into something useful.
Useful how? What does it let a farmer do?
Well, it helps them and their advisors really zoom in, assess plant health right down to the individual plant level.
Wow.
Yeah, spot stressors like maybe nutrient issues or disease starting. And then this is key, actually do something about it, take action.
Okay, so it raises a big question then. If you have all this crazy detailed data, how does that actually help a farmer, on a Tuesday afternoon?
Right, the practical application.
That's where the SMARTSCRIPT Weeds thing comes in, right? And this is where I think it gets really interesting for you listening.
Okay, paint the picture.
So you've got the drone, Sentera Tech on board, flying the field. It's snapping these incredibly detailed images.
Super high res.
Yeah. Then Field Agent crunches those images. It pinpoints the exact location of weeds. Not just over there, but right here.
Creating a map.
Exactly. They call it a weed map. So imagine having a map of weeds down to the millimeter. How big a deal is that compared to how things used to be done?
Oh, it's night and day. It's a massive departure from just, spraying the whole field evenly, blanket spraying,
Okay.
this super precise weed map. It becomes a prescription, a targeted one.
Meaning
instead of dumping herbicide everywhere, the farmer gets told exactly how much is needed and exactly where, just on the weeds.
And how does that prescription get used?
It gets sent wirelessly, straight from the software to compatible sprayers, tractors, whatever, through the John Deere Operations Center.
Ah, the integration piece.
Right. So you minimize waste dramatically. You're customizing treatment down to literally individual problem plans.
The savings must be huge, just on chemicals.
Absolutely. Huge savings on inputs. And think about the environmental side, too.
Yeah.
Less chemical runoff.
Yeah, that's a massive plus. And you said weed mapping is just one example.
That's right. Just one application. You can use the same basic process, fly, image, analyze for other things.
Like what?
Assessing crop stand, maybe. How evenly the crops came up. Or checking for disease pressure early on. Even spotting pest infestations.
It really sounds like it's all about getting this incredibly detailed, almost real-time snapshot of exactly what's happening in the field.
Exactly. It's squeezing actionable insight out of every single pixel, which, makes perfect sense why Deere would want Sentera's capabilities.
Was there a specific strategic reason given beyond just getting cool new tech?
Yeah, they touched on that. Chris Winkler, he's the director of digital software and solutions at John Deere.
Okay, what did she say?
He really emphasized combining Sentera's imagery power with their existing John Deere Operations Center platform.
To make the data flow smoothly?
Precisely. Seamless integration. So farmers and their advisors can see what's happening in real time, understand it, and then use that data to make decisions all season long.
Gotcha.
And he framed it under that banner of helping farmers do more with less.
Right, the efficiency and sustainability angle again.
Exactly. And he also mentioned it helps meet farmers wherever they are in terms of the tech adoption. It complements other advanced stuff they already have.
Like See and Spray.
Yeah, exactly like See and Spray,
Yeah.
which, just for context, uses cameras and AI right on the sprayer to spot and target individual weeds as it goes.
So Sentera's drone view provides the overview map, and See and Spray does the real-time targeting on the ground. They fit together.
Beautifully. One informs the other, potentially.
It's good to hear from farmers, too. There was a quote from Nick Eink. He's director of agronomy at Chandler Coop. They use both John Deere and Sentera gear.
Oh, yeah. What was his take?
He sounded really positive, said the value of this integration is clear, and that Sentera's scouting lets them get data faster, over more acres, and in more detail.
Which lets them customize their approach field by field.
Yeah, that's what he said. It really highlights the practical upside for the actual users, doesn't it?
It really does. And you also had Brian Wengitz, the CEO of Sentera.
Right, the acquired company's view.
Yeah. He basically said John Deere is exactly the right home for Sentera, called Deere the industry benchmark for innovation in precision ag.
High praise.
It is. And he mentioned shared beliefs, trust, measurable insights, scalable platforms. It's just a good cultural fit, too, not just technological.
That's interesting. And John Deere made a point about keeping things open, right? The Operations Center won't only work with Sentera.
Correct. They emphasize that the Operations Center remains open to other drone imagery providers. Customer choice is still there, supposedly.
And Sentera itself will keep selling its cameras directly.
Yeah, they'll continue direct supply and selling to other users, too, so it signals, an integrated, maybe collaborative approach, not just locking everything down.
That sounds good on paper. But, I mean, when a giant like John Deere swallows up a smaller player, even with an open ecosystem promise, isn't there a risk that just the convenience of the integrated John Deere solution will kind of naturally steer farmers that way?
That's a really fair point.
Could it end up limiting the market for other smaller innovators down the line?
It's definitely a valid concern. It's that classic tension you see whenever there's consolidation in a fast-moving tech space.
Right.
Deere's commitment to openness is positive, no doubt.
Yeah.
But you're right. The path of least resistance for a busy farmer is often that seamless, single-platform integration.
So it's a balancing act.
It really is. Trying to get the benefits of integration and efficiency without accidentally stifling the diversity and competition that drives innovation in the first place. It's tricky.
Okay, that's a crucial nuance. So if we zoom out now, connect this Sentera deal to the bigger picture, it's pretty amazing to think about John Deere's journey.
Nearly 200 years, right? Started with a steel plow.
Yeah. And now they're this global force in, well, everything needed to produce food, fiber, fuel, infrastructure.
It was quite the evolution.
And the Sentera deal, it doesn't feel like a random one-off. You mentioned their strategy. This fits a pattern, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Sentera gives them the eyes in the sky, right? Incredible detail about what's happening in the field.
Seeing the field. Got it.
But seeing is just step one. You need to act on that information, ideally, efficiently, maybe even autonomously.
Okay. And that's where their other acquisitions come in.
Exactly. It points to a much bigger ambition. They're piecing together a whole system.
So Sentera's for sensing. What else have they brought in? What are the other pieces?
Well, one really interesting piece is SmartApply. They bought them back in July 2023.
SmartApply. What do they do?
Precision spraying technology. Basically, an intelligent spray control system.
More spraying tech, like See and Spray.
Similar goal, different approach maybe, but focused on drastically cutting chemical runoff, airborne drift, using less chemical, less water overall.
Okay, so again, efficiency, cost reduction, sustainability. Fits that do more with less idea.
Perfectly. It echoes that same philosophy.
And then there was Spark AI. That one sounded a bit different. Human-in-the-loop AI for robotic processes.
Yeah, that one's fascinating. It sounds like it's about making autonomous systems like tractors smarter and more reliable, using AI, but with a way for humans to sort of supervise or help when the AI gets stuck.
Refining the autonomy.
Right, which could massively boost farm operations, improve yields. And don't forget, Bear Flag Robotics back in 2021.
Bear Flag. They were purely autonomous driving for tractors, weren't they?
Yep, that really solidified Deere's push into full-on agricultural automation, making the tractors drive themselves.
Okay, so Bear Flag and Spark AI are about making the machines autonomous and smarter?
Right, investing heavily in the brains and the self-driving capability of the equipment.
So when you put it all together, Sentera for the sensing, the seeing, SMART, apply for the intelligent, precise acting or application,
Yep.
and then Spark AI and Bear Flag Robotics for the autonomy, the self-driving, the robotic intelligence.
You see the picture forming, right?
Right. Yeah. It really looks like John Deere isn't just, randomly buying cool tech companies. They're strategically assembling building blocks.
Exactly. Building a complete end-to-end data-driven ecosystem for how farming works in the future.
It's not just about selling individual machines anymore.
No, not at all. It's about selling an integrated system, a highly efficient, data-rich, and ideally more sustainable way to farm.
So when you connect those dots, starting from something like, drone imagery for weeds.
Which seems kind of specific, maybe niche.
Right. But the real aha moment is realizing it's just one vital piece, one part of this huge technological shift that's happening across our entire global food system.
Absolutely. That's the key takeaway. It's bigger than just tractors and drones.
So here's a final thought to maybe chew on. As this tech lets us genuinely do more with less in farming, what's next? What new frontiers in actually producing food or achieving sustainability might we unlock in, say, the next 10 years because of all this?
That's a great question. Where does this level of efficiency and data actually take us? Interesting thought.